second to approve the minutes. All in favor, raise your right hand. Matt was first. Oh, so the minutes from last meeting. Sorry. No, October 22nd. Do we have the others to approve from too, don't we? Because we didn't approve them at the last meeting. Okay. So that was a motion for this one, right? It's for October? Right. Yes. Do we have a motion to approve for the previous minutes? What's that date? September, whatever. 24. Yeah, we didn't do that. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I'll second that one as well.
We got a first and a second to approve the minutes for the September meeting as well. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. Appreciate that, Elizabeth. Missed that. So welcome everybody to November 26th Planning and Zoning Commission. We got a light menu or agenda tonight, and we'll just again thank you for coming, and we'll jump right into it. Mr. Stewart, do we have any updates with our agenda?
The only update to the agenda at the end of, you may want to decide about the next month's meeting.
All right, we'll circle back to that at the end of the meeting then. Okay, good deal. You want to call our first case?
Mr. Chairman, the first case is case number 1594-24. The applicant is L.J. Investment Holdings, LLC. Tax map 25, parcel 64. It's located at 1858 Baggett Road, and they're requesting a rezoning from R1 to R2.
All right. So we'll call that case in front of us tonight.
Jerry Hawthorne. This piece of property contains approximately 36 acres. It's on Hawthorne Spring and on Baggett. It's on both roads. I do own an adjacent piece that's another 18 acres that I didn't include in this request. Had this for 3 or 4 years. It has a sewer main in it, right through the middle of it, runs from Poplar Springs up to Baggett. And I've been trying to figure out, it was some old family friends that had it years ago, and they are all deceased, with some sisters and brothers, and friends of our family for a long time. And the kids called me, and they always out of town. That's how I ended up. But the reason for R2, I was thinking of R1. I build townhomes a lot, and I get a lot of requests out of people my age that have elderly parents. When I say elderly, I'm talking 70 and late 70s and 80s that need to either downside or they got to have assisted living, but they don't want to go to assisted living, and they want to be next to their children. So I get requests for middle-aged people want to buy a nice unit. They don't want to give up 2,000 square feet for 1,200 square feet, but they don't want to buy in a development. They want to buy just on a piece of ground somewhere where they can still have an outbuilding and they can still have their yard and have their lawnmower and take care of their own stuff. But yet they want to be able to have a smaller than a 1,200 square foot unit attached to a bigger unit so they potentially rent it or put the elderly parent in. And either both parents or one parent, but yet they could have interconnection if they need it. And then after that's gone through that stage of life, they could either rent it or sell it for another purpose later. But they don't want to buy two $350,000 units. They only want to buy one $400,000 and one $150,000. And I don't build cheap for units in a town development where you got a big one connected to a little one. It harder to sell because these opportunities aren't there every day. And most of those buyers want a little more ground. So I'm not going to up the density of this at all. R1 density is fine. R1 density on sewer is 15,000 square foot lots, I believe. And R2 lot size is still 15,000 square foot lot minimum. I know on R2 you can put a duplex or a triplex, which would increase your number of doors technically if you go into an R2. But I'm not wanting to increase. I'm going to agree to a restriction on the property where it cannot be increased from. There's 35 acres. If you could do 2 per acre at this rate, it could be at 70. If I'm not going to increase the numbers any greater than what can be at today without any rezoning. Probably a lot less than that, but it would just have virtually no impact on overall density of the property. This property has some topography issues to it. It's not 100% suitable because it's some steep slopes that for any high density use anyway.
I was gonna say, probably some of that land, it just may stay undeveloped.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was a section of that.
You take a duplex beyond an acre of ground instead of 2 houses on an acre of ground or something like that. That's what I'm trying to do. And you need sewer to do an R2 because the health department requirements for septic systems, when you step up above a single family, get pretty large and it takes up a lot of space, so you have to have just a lot of space anyway if you're on septic. So, but on sewer, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's a lot of duplexes on Baggett Road right close to this property. I counted 17, so it's not. It's compatible with the neighborhood, especially on the Baggett side.
Would there be more than one entrance?
I'm not actually going to propose any new roads.
No, that's okay.
It's got plenty of existing road frontage on it.
So you just do that? Okay.
Now, if you were going to develop it in a higher density, you'd have to have some sort of road system.
All right. Any more questions at this moment? All right, Ms. Osborne, thank you. Anybody here in relation to this case would like to speak against this case, not in favor of this case? If you're here and you want to speak not in favor of this case, you please come forward. Is anyone here tonight that would like to speak in favor of this case? Besides Mr. Hawthorne, if you'd like to come forward. Okay. All right, gentlemen. Not want to increase the density of the duplex on the acre. Not being roads, none of that kind of stuff. Yeah, there is a lot of duplexes and things of that nature up and down through that area, I've noticed that. I'm about to look at the parcel. All right. I will entertain a motion for this case.
I'm making a motion to approve
We got a motion for approval, R1 to R2, second? All in favor, please raise your hand. All right. Approval for 1594-24 has been approved. That'll go before the commissioners at their next meeting in December. Second meeting in December.
December
17th. December 17th. Okay. Mr. Stewart, you can call our next case, please.
Mr. Chairman, the next case is 1595-24. The applicant is Pryor Bacon Company, tax map 28, parcel 171, located at 299 South Wooten Road, and they're requesting a preliminary plat for approval.
Okay. We have someone here representing this. All right.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, Sherman Smith.
Thank you for joining us again this month.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for the snafu last month.
No problem, I understand.
All right. What we got here?
So you guys should have before you a set of engineer drawings. Finally, we got to this place. Having a set of drawings for you guys. The drawings should be very familiar for those of you that sat on this board that approved it. As it's essentially a engineered solution of those original proposed drawings for 92 units, 92 townhome units. This is just an engineered set of drawings. We're still waiting on our Georgia soil water erosion control permit, which we haven't gotten feedback from them. Actually, this past week, our engineer will be meeting their request for those comments that were made in the new plan, or not a new plan, but additional comments and details on our plan submitted back to them, and based on their comments, we're hoping that goes one time, not 3 or 4 times, but that's where we're at with the state. Otherwise, we're just here to get approval for this plat, so hopefully to obtain a land disturbance permit once the Georgia stormwater erosion control permit's in place, so that we begin clearing.
Remind us how many acres the total project is? Total acres?
Yeah, I think it's 20. Forgive me, this has been a rather ongoing project. 22.5, I think is what it was.
22.5. Describe to us what in your mind, how the townhomes are gonna look. I mean, 1 level, 2 level, what do you think?
Mike, you don't have, there's not any of that original application that was made with the original changes.
We had originally provided some of that in our original approval, but some previous units that we built. But they'll consist of 2-unit and 3-unit connected townhomes, all with garages. There'll be a mixture of brick, stone, and siding on the exterior. All 1 level. Very consistent in look. It'll be as most often seen in a common townhome development, and a very similar look across all the units. All of the 2-unit and the 3-unit buildings will have a little different facade just because of the number of units. It does have a clubhouse and an area for meeting and gathering for the community. Other than that, it's going to be what you would typically see and feel in a townhome development that's all around the county.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Would you like to ask?
Too big of
2 and 3, yeah. Probably very few 3s. do some of the 2-unit buildings with, because we've got a little more space, with, just 2 buildings as opposed to 3, because, more and more people now than years ago when I did townhomes are still working later in age. And there's a number of folks that like a small office, with just based on the overall square footage, those bedrooms are not going to be very large, but, it could be a 3rd bedroom or an office.
Did you determine if this is going to be gated or not?
It will not be big. Trying to control HOA fees.
Understood.
But private road, is that correct or not?
No problem.
No private road.
All right. We'll call you back up in a second.
Thank you, sir.
In relation to this case, is there anyone here that would like to speak up in favor of this case? If you would please come forward. For those that are, there's nobody for that, is there anyone here that would like to speak against this case or present your objections? If you would please come forward. Yes, sir. Please come forward and tell us your name.
Hello, I'm Keith Fairchild. I own the property 1,400 feet on the, I guess looking at the property on the right side. This property was not approved by you guys to start with. And then it did finally, they went through it, and then another year it got approved later. Right next to agriculture, they took agriculture and want to put in 98 townhomes. Saying that it's mostly just going to be for older people and stuff, which I'm looking at most of these townhomes that's around that's 2 inches from each other. That's not the case. It's kids, it's more kids, and more kids. So I don't know how it got passed to start with for the second time, but we had 30-something people here for that last one. 230-something signatures. The head commissioners would not even look at the signatures. We laid the papers down, they just set them aside. So, I have a great idea on how it got passed. But it's just, I'm so tired of driving around Catoosa County. Every other road now is just a headache. People coming and going. And it's, I wouldn't say it's for older people, 2 bedrooms, it's younger people. I mean, you go in, just drive in some of them. It's not just a couple of houses, it's almost all the houses because they want this area particularly because of school. It's number one issue, or number one area, I think, who's the lady that was on here, over my district, she said in a 70-mile radius that people want that area because of schools. So these houses aren't going in, or townhomes, 98 of them going in for older people. That's a great throw in the pen wish for what they're trying to say, but in reality, it's going to be mostly for people with kids. And not that I have a problem with it, but my cows get out, my chickens get out, and instead of someone calling me up saying, Keith, your cows are out, it's going to be, hey, Keith, your cow attacked my 5-year-old. That was over the fence. I mean, we didn't want this to start with. Some people have moved away because of this was coming, and then Frost passed away. And it's just so sickening. Just every time you get up here, or listening or whatever, it's some townhome. Where 15 years ago, people on the board wanted 1-acre lots because there was so much traffic, so many houses being built. And now they're looking at a 1/10 of an acre lot with a house on each. This would be okay if it was maybe an acre lot each, but jamming in all these houses, every time you turn around, on every corner you go down, is just sickening. I've been here since 1991, I believe. I'm on wife and her family originally from here, grandparents in Indian Springs, her great grandmother lived down here in Ringgold. I mean, it's been a family thing, especially on my wife's side. And I'm sure a lot of them have turned over in their graves now, just looking at Catoosa County then, 1960, 78. I know everybody wants progress, but how much progress do you want? What's this doing? You know, my taxes went up over $1,000 just my property taxes. And we've got all these extra houses paying taxes, and we're still getting raised on property tax. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to have to hire more police. There's more crime. I know in Port Oglethorpe areas, because of the stuff they built, Port Oglethorpe said they wouldn't get another project like one of them they built. I don't know which one it was, but because of the crime and stuff. And I just don't want that next door to me. It was agriculture to start with, how it got changed to R1 or whatever, I don't have any clue how that could even be possible without just approving it to build a regular neighborhood, which is something this whole county is missing. People come here for the beauty, people come here for the creek, the old town, not come here looking like it's, you know, New Jersey now. I mean, it's pathetic to me. I don't want it. Like I said, we had this place packed on the last one. Like I said, they didn't look at the 200 something signatures. They didn't care what the people had to say. They just wanted approved. Well, 3 of them approved it. But
Is your land adjoining this project?
1,500 feet on the side. I think it's going to be 25 right next to me. Where it was agriculture. My kids grew up there. I don't know how many thousands of kids came over, played with the cows, played with the chickens, played with the pigs over the years. But if this comes in, I'm definitely going out. I've had enough. I know a lot of people I talk to have had enough of the builders in this county as well. I mean, they're just decimating it. It's like being in a butcher shop. What part do you want? Let me give him this one. Let me give him that one. Let me give him that one. And it all gets approved somehow. I don't know how. But it's just sad to see. Like I said, in the actually 30 years I've been here, it's becoming a eyesore. You know, if I wanted to be in Chattanooga, I would have stayed there. You know, we came here, Mill Creek subdivision, big lots, rolling, you know, trees covering a lot of the houses. You couldn't really see that it was just a big pile of, almost looked like miniature micro motels, you know, tiny houses down through here. And it's, anyway, I guess that's it. Hope you guys can take consideration of people of this county for a change instead of builders. I know it's hard to do, a lot of income coming in, but like I said, where's the income going if we're having to raise property tax? Where's it going to? What's it going for? Where's this money at? I mean, it's one of those questions to me. Why don't they go down Alabama Highway or something? I mean, just stay off of South Wooten. I mean, I don't even want to sit on Alabama Highway. You know, I go down to 2A and look at the mess of the building right there on that hill. I mean, it's just another, that's just basically what this is going to be. House. 25 done my property. And the other 70 or whatever, 70 something is going to be adjacent to there. It's going to look like another mess. Appraisals are, I mean, that's why people's coming here. That's why they want this area. That's why they want to build in that area. They want to build in that area, build a house on a decent piece of property that kids can play, you know, in the yard, not in the street. And, you know, they want the racial school, you know, they want the other high school, or this high school, you know, but anyway, I came by myself tonight, unfortunately. I didn't round up all the troops. Like I said, several of them have moved away. One of them sold out to somebody else a while back. He bought some property in Alabama after this got approved. And it's just sad. It's just everywhere now. didn't say, well, go get 2 houses per acre, maybe. It's gonna be like 5 houses per acre. It's gonna be, you know, because they got a big retention pond and everything on this. And even 2 houses per acre, to me, is too much. You know, wherever you go. And like I said, that's why we came here. You know, we had big lots, you know, 2 acre lots or so in Mill Creek. Everybody's still there, all the old neighbors and stuff is still there. But anyway, my kids are grown, so you know, if I go, I go. But, you know, they're out of school, they're in college, moved off and whatever, you know. But, you know, one wants them to stay here, but he's not going to stay on South Wooten because, like I said, this gets approved. You know, we've been there since 2002. And the property's been owned in her family since 1967 or 69 or something. And split it with 3 lots there. And I'm saying lots as in 10 to 12 acre lots. There was 3 of them sold. But anyway, something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fairchild. Anyone else like to speak?
I have a question, a general question, it's kind of applicable to this.
We come forward, state your name for the.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Gray. I live just down the road. I'm off of Haggard, you know, so I'm in the general area. My question really isn't for or against this. You know, my understanding was already a done deal, but my question is more about the process as far as any development coming through. You know, I'm sure when this was approved, you know, the 90s, whatever homes, you know, the school representative probably said that the school system could, you know, Graceville could handle the students and whatnot. And my question is do you guys have like a tally or something running where, you know, now we have these 90 homes and then there's now the development getting built across from Graceville, like Hawk's Eye or whatever it's called, Hawk's Cove, I forget. But to know exactly like, after it's all said and done, what's the district going to look like, you know, in any particular part of the county, but to know, you know, not just these 90 homes, but these other 90 homes are being built and so on. You know, just that basically. Do you have like a...
Good question. We don't have, at the school board, I believe, we don't have anything that speaks to future kid population in a school district, basically.
Basically, like you've already approved this one, and then afterwards, I'm sure you approved the Hawk's Eye, and then did you know, was that 90 home development taken in consideration to this new 90 home development that's also going to be built, or whatever the units could be?
Anytime we have something like this come before us, you've probably been on meetings to see that we always ask our school board representative, does this fit within? And it wasn't too many months ago, we actually had one, kind of questionable, we didn't approve it, I don't know what it was, but I mean, since it's been approved, we don't keep a running tally, this condition of, hey, approved this a year and a half ago, now the school system numbers up to this, or whatever.
Yeah, like we've already approved 500 homes, and now here's another 100 that, you know, that's what I'm kind of getting at. You know, might be a good idea to do so, just to know what the real effect of the school system is going to be on each development that does get approved going forward.
Right.
But that, you know, does seem like a...
I'd ask our school board representative that.
Yeah, no, I wish they were here tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Good question. Good question. All right, our job here tonight is to review the plat review, not the project itself, so that was already approved. Tonight it's just for the preliminary plat review. So commission, if you've had a chance, we get our packets weeks in advance, and we get to study this and drive by properties and all of that stuff, so it's not sprung on us the day of the meeting or anything like that. So having time to review everything, do you guys have any questions or comments or anything that we would like to go over at this time?
I guess I have a question. Notice on the entry on South Wooten Road, it does not, this diagram, the best I can tell, it's small, but does it show your deceleration
that responsibility on somebody else to my
Well,
left.
we asked for the small one, but it doesn't look like it's here.
Yeah, it is there.
Okay.
Yeah, it is there. You know, on the overall site plan, you can kind of follow you see the, you know, kind of the dotted line and the.
What page are you on?
C3. Yeah, you can kind of see an angular line there representing that, and then, I don't think the full detail of the road profile is done because we don't have that back from the state necessarily. But yes, it does have the center left turn lane on South Wooten 241 and a D-cell coming in to the property. I don't see a blowout of a detail there, but it is in the design, yes. And I anticipate it will be, you know, I would say, subject to the stormwater, obviously, permit, you know. Naturally, you can't let me start without them letting me start. So that, but, you know, I understand that portion of the process for sure. We just wanted to get in front of you guys, based on the holiday schedule, and based on the ability to start, you know, grading and clearing trees.
I just want to make sure that the presentation presented on improvements to South Wooten Road are included in the plan. You know what I mean? In the
Completely,
plan.
yeah.
Okay, well, if we make that subject to that, that has to also be approved by the road department. So they'll need to look at an improvement also.
Yes.
On your road profile and
Right.
anything constructed on the county right of way. And since this is not going to be a private road, they'll have to approve all, period.
Right. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that was one of the conditions of the approval, if I remember. You may have that in front of you better than I do. The original approval. I think somebody mentioned that, maybe it wasn't part of the written approval, but it was part of the design. Yes, sir. And the traffic study we provided was, that, you know, showed based on, you know, I forget the percentages, but there was a great deal of percentage of capacity there, and that was, you know, significantly improved by the turn lane as well, as part of the, you know, traffic study presented early on.
Any other questions?
It looks like the sewer design, which would have to be approved by the city of Ringgold, is gravity all the way, correct?
Yes.
To make that work, final grading plan, I don't necessarily see, I see your current telephone, your current lines, but it looks like they have to be elevated a little bit on the south end, is that correct? Or, I guess that is.
So we've been given an easement through to 41 Highway,
Oh, on the south.
on the south side.
Okay.
Yeah, through one landowner's property there.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a manhole on the south side that allows everything without any special grading
Oh,
to get to.
I see it going to 41, I didn't know if that was with it.
Right. Yeah, I think some of it does, if you, I mean, of course, I trust you can't see it on that very large drawing you've got in front of you, but some of the grades go back to the one at the northern end of the property, and some go, that's part of the reason for
I could
the,
read the one on the north end.
yeah, that's part of the reason for the design of the sewer the way it is. You know, it's a little unique, but it's because it breaks.
So you're split into two systems?
Right, yeah, yeah.
proposed community building up here at the front?
I'm sorry?
Is this a proposed community building? up
Yes.
here? Okay. That's what you'll actually see from Highway 41.
That's right, yeah, for the most part, based on the setback, based on the footage, from 41 to any of those first units, it'll be kind of that green space and open area around that community area. Or building.
I don't have any more questions. Y'all got any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Again, everything's already been approved, so this is just a flat review. Does this go to full commission? Or is this stops tonight on flat review? That's what I thought. I mean, everything's still got to be stormwater permit and all that kind of stuff, so. Waiting on that, that's the only real hold up to the project is getting their stormwater permit back.
Stormwater and the county road department approval,
And the road department.
and then we'll have to have the city sewer approval. I would make a motion to approve based on, subject to the stormwater permit to be approved by the state and by the county engineer. And subject to the road department's approval of South Wooten improvements plus acceptance of the proposed new roads since they're not private. And, subject to the sewer approval for city engineer. Control that from basin.
So we've got a motion to approve the plat review with, the stipulations about the stormwater permit, the road department, them, their approval, and then the city of Ringgold for the, sewer. Do we have a second?
I'd like to say,
We have a first and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. So the preliminary plat review is approved. You still gotta get you still got some more hurdles to go there, so, with all of that. Mr. Stewart, for tonight, do we have anything else that you need to bring before us for tonight?
The only thing would be December's planning commission meeting, which falls on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
But we have no applications anyway. Doesn't meet the deadline, so there's nothing
Okay.
beginning.
So, we're not gonna spoil Santa Claus if we don't need to. All right. We need a motion on that? All right. I make a motion that in the December, in light, we have no applicants, we have no agenda for that, and it's Christmas Eve, that we'll reconvene in January of 2025. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Now we'll have that posted on the webpage, and there's no meeting in December.
No meeting in December. Please do so. All right, we'll see you guys back in January. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank y'all for coming.
Question, that doesn't get appropriately advertised, is that what you have to have any?
Just kidding.
Just because, since we all, failed to improve